Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to Tablebreakers.
How you doing, sir?
What? I'm here.
Okay.
I'm alive.
Connell is off on assignment, doing his fatherly duties. So he will not be joining us
Did
tonight.
somebody call his daughter a mulatto again?
I have no idea.
Somebody get me some camera footage from Pekin. We got to see the hate crime in progress.
No. But and of course Jade is on leave, so hopefully his work will slow down and he'll be able to rejoin us. So let's see. We are going into our second week of talking about espionage and spycraft here. So yeah. Who wants to lead this one?
Speaking of spycraft, I'll start the round robins. Back 2006, 2003, somewhere around there was a game called Spycraft using a D20 engine. Any of you gents play that?
Sadly, no.
Really?
Nobody had a chance to run it. We have so many other games to play that getting back to Spycraft is just, it's there. It's like, hey, we all want to play it, right? Who wants to run it? Nobody. What are we playing? Everything else? Okay, cool. Someday when we're all dead and retired, we'll be able to actually play this. Cool.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm looking forward to retirement because, I'll be able to do stuff like that.
No, you won't. Your wife won't let you.
My friend, you misunderstand. My wife is an accessory. She's a piece of my inventory.
You say that
spoken like a true Skeletor.
I will work on this sometime this week, I promise. Still looking at it with lots of love.
Is that the Evil Lynn?
I love Evil Lynn. Do I have to? Never mind. I'll be quiet. No, there was a game called Spycraft, which was a really cool D20. Back when D20 meant like, hey, there's some money behind this. They had a lot of books. They had a lot of options available. They put out a lot of stuff in 2002 to 2004, if I remember right. And Alder Rock Entertainment's the one that made it. And they had a really neat setup to where you were creating a spy, and you had different types of spies. One was a wheelman, one was a face, it was just a generalist, like modern, but action movie modern. Not like, oh, I'm a homemaker. Oh, I'm a college student. No. You were badasses. And you were doing badass things. And that's exactly, if you're going to be playing an RPG, at least in your first leg of gaming, you're going to be playing a game like that. Like, I want to play Barbarian. I want to play Fighter. I want to play Necromancer. Shit like that. The same thing, but with modern trappings. And it was a very well put together system. They made a 1960s environment for a campaign with a lot of different books based on that. Let me see if I can find this, because it was a really cool thing back in the day. But when I talk about back in the day, like, you guys are like, oh shit, Grandpa Bruce is talking about back in the day again. Hold on.
If Grandpa Bruce is going to start talking about back in the day, he needs to take his meds first.
Well, it had the vitality. It had the vitality and wound point system that started off in Star Wars D20, which was really cool. Let's see here. I'll present this. Spycraft. And this is the original, if I remember right. That's what it. Oh, that's the 2.0 version. My bad. But they had a pretty cool set of awards for it. In 2002, people were looking at this like, oh my God, sliced bread. It's delicious. And so they had the basic version of the classic, which has vitality and moon points. You had races were replaced by departments. Mechanic would later evolve into more of a semi-meta department before being used to model non-human types. You had modern-day skills for computers, electronics. In Spycraft 2.0, they went a little further and was released under the OGL, not under the not under the D20 system trademark. So they had new character options like wealth. They had other things to plug and play modifications called campaign qualities, kind of like traits in Pathfinder. They had an origin at character creation. So you had two parts of that, and you had an unending variety of character benefits and detriments. The origin was kind of cool, actually. So they made it for the D20 system, and they had a redesigned gear system that simplified the wealth portion of the game. Budget and gear points were replaced as common items. The number of gear picks were based on your class and level. Vehicular chases were expanded. They had a new mechanic called dramatic conflict. One system covered chases, seductions, hacking, and other dramatic events. I lost a couple characters during seduction portions, which I thought I was good at that, and found out, no, I'm not. I really have a charisma 7. Okay. They had Shadow Force Archer. There's the first of the campaign settings. They had mystical and psionic powers were real. Pan-Asian Collective Chamber book, the detailed the continent of Asia and Pacific Rim, where we would always play in Neo Tokyo. Yeah, we didn't have Big Eye, Small Mouth back then. There was a bunch of other...
It was out since 97. 97 is when the book was released.
Yeah. So I just got to say, this was like my first involvement with intrigue stuff. We played it for a while on my off weeks, and it was a lot of fun. But we really, it was an NSFW group at a game store, and eventually we got kicked out. If we came back,
you kicked out? No,
right? Can't stomach the thought. But it was a lot of fun. I had fun. Oh shit, we better talk about the people in chat real quick. Six Nation 31 Kings. Hey sir, how you doing? He says, evening y'all, cooking dinner. I might jump in with time permits. We talk for a bit, and Soy-Based Jeremy jumps in. I have unfortunate news. I'm alive. Well, when you're sick, you're still alive. I'll set up the bail fund. Get to the sexy draft on ladies, okay? Get to the sexy dragon ladies already. Okay. The assassins failed. Update on my throat. I'm feeling better. Well, that's good. If you'd quit swallowing nails in glass, it'd be okay. He's almost there. Be able to get on tour doing arena rock in no time. Yeah, stop singing Nickelback. That's going to fuck up your entire life. Okay, we went through our chat. Thank you, guys. Go ahead, Garrett. I've talked for a little bit.
No, you're fine. So who wants to lead the discussion tonight? Normally I pick on Connell for this, but he's not here.
I know.
Connell.
I kind of depend on his ability to fumble through all words.
I know, right?
He is Moroni from The Year of Living Dangerously, if I remember right. The Italian that couldn't pronounce anything right. He just befuddled when he'd read stuff. He'd put words around and letters around, and just before you know it, he's talking in Greta Thunberg.
He's the master of spoonerisms.
He is. Garrett, if you want to pick on me, what do you want to know? Where do you want me to start at?
Real quick, just we're going to start off with a little housekeeping. Bruce, is this your last one, or do you have one more?
For right now, it's going to be a departure, because next week I'm on morning shift, which is 2 a.m. to 2 p.m. That leaves very little for me to do during the evening. I'll be asleep or dead, and so I need to be asleep, preferably. After training, I'm supposed to go to afternoons, which means I'll be working 2 p.m. to 2 a.m. So, like I said, I'll probably be doing reaction videos for you guys.
Okay.
To bolster content. I want to find a way to remember how YouTube used to let you do a reaction video and you could tag people in videos, and it would actually come up like a follow up. Remember that?
Yeah, I don't think they do that anymore.
I think we're going to reinvent it. I think we're going to figure this out. I
Okay.
think what we need to do. This is. I think we're going to need to do like playlists. Like
Well,
if
this
somebody,
is in a playlist, so
it is, but you'll have to take a video, put that in a separate. You'll have like 2 for 2 or 2 for playlists. You'll have all these playlists with just 2 videos where you have the original video, origin video, then you have like the reactions.
you could probably set that up. That's no problem. So for the housekeeping side, the actual Tablebreakers podcast channel is going to be the main channel going forward until Bruce comes back. So make sure you do subscribe to that. The links are in the description down below. They're tiny URL type links. So make sure you do follow everyone. And that way you can keep up with the content and still see us every week. And that being said, so with the espionage and things along those lines, I'm going to start with our resident guru who has an opinion about everything,
No.
Kai.
I don't know. Mike was here.
Well, when it comes to like espionage and stuff like that, I tend to look at Kai a little bit more, just because he's got the brain for it and the way to incorporate it. So, what type of organizations do you like to have on both sides in order to facilitate the players being able to dive in to more of the information gathering and the espionage and information brokering?
Honestly, like we can go everything from little private. Let's see. If I'm doing something more fantasy, I hate to say this because I hate the organization, but there's always groups like the Harpers. I hate them, but they are the fantasy bullshit organization that if you need a group of idiots that do stupid things and gather intelligence and try to be useful, you got them as an example. I've used them before. I've also done, because I've played around with various, departments of, it's like, oh, hey, you're going to deal with groups that are be the prototypes of what will eventually become the CIA, OSI. You got the ABVER. You got the various intelligence organizations that are out there. Because there's always been somebody who's gone out there and been a spy, and brought people in. I mean, it's never been formalized really until more recently because the world, it's hard to be organized. There's always a spy master somewhere, and honestly, most players don't need to know about the higher up. So, as it's good to have all that shit, but depending on how much they're wanting to get into it, I'll go somewhere as far as just a handler who's there to take. Who's just there to feed you information like a Bad Johnson from either Shadowrun or Cyberpunk, who's just feeding you information, or up to here's your division chief who's going to give you all your marching orders and just go, this is a problem, solve it, and that is the entire because I know most players are just, I'll be honest, simplistic, and their ability to problem solve is apply force to forehead, repeat until problem solved. So you can just give them a simple job of, I need you to go over there and blow the fuck out of that damn building and or thing I don't like of value. But if I got competent players, I can go so far as as this one individual's been spotted. Find out what the fuck he's up to. Find out what he's doing and make their life miserable. And then give him a budget. And then walk the heck away and go, that's your problem now, not mine. I got too many other problems. So, but I also, God, there's so many. I've done so many of these and so many ways of running it that I'm trying to pin down, because I've had players at street level, street level, disposable thug level, all the way up to players who are sitting at the head of an intelligence organization going, oh dear God, what do I have 5 people and 100 problems. How do I solve this? So, can you narrow it down some?
No.
Or have I given you a good opening salvo?
You've given me a beautiful opening concerto.
We put a coin in Kai, and we can go and take a poop for 8 minutes. We can go and just grab
Smoke
food,
a cigarette?
smoke a cigarette outside. We can go, for those of you that are infidelists, you can go fuck a neighbor's wife or something. I mean, whatever. You got all the time in the world. He's painting miniatures. Just kidding, Kai. I love you, bud.
It's okay. It's my job.
Want direction on something. I think what I'd like to see is whenever you're doing your first act of your campaign, not the session 0 bullshit, because everything starts at 1.
First act, honestly, is just pulling them in. Is giving them a first taste of the kind of job that they're specialized in. Because your session 0, 1, whatever, the early, when you're trying to have your GM version of foreplay with your party to figure out what they enjoy and what they're good at. Eventually you might find out that this particular group is really good at infiltration. Then you start feeding them the infiltration jobs and working them into that problem. Then again, you might get your party might be fucking War Daddy and his crew of badasses, and you give them this is your job. Take this, blow the fuck out of B. Go.
Just be respectful to Lafayette Pool. That's all I ask.
I am. He's amazing.
Although the part where he gets into a fight with Joe Louis, that was great.
Yes, but no. But like I said, but occasionally you get parties that they're not good at infiltration. They're not good at doing anything subtle. Their job is to be. You fly them in, you drop them off, you hand them 400 pounds of angry putty and say, make problems. And they will. And the problem goes away. And it's beautiful. And it's you realize that sometimes you need a team of people whose entire job is to remove problems, and that's your party. You don't give them the subtle jobs, but their job is to, you have the impossible mission of 5 to 6 of you need to go up against the entire fourth army and need to blow up the one thing that matters and then get the fuck out. You got your party's that. But then again, you might have a group of players who are utterly fucking useless at combat, but they're fucking geniuses, and they're sitting here as your Q division going, how the hell do we drop a bomb the size of a semi-truck on top of that guy's forehead? And they'll design your fucking weapon for you, and you're sitting there and go, these guys are the crazy motherfuckers who are going to go out there and turn a bomber into a flying machine gun and then drop a bomb on something. Go, take care of the problem. And they will. So it really is what was that?
I was about to say, I've always viewed that particular type of player kind of like a Professor Farnsworth from the Black Hole episode. Well, I suppose I can give up one
of my super weapons.
Yeah, and still be the most feared scientist in the known universe.
Right. And the thing is that's half the fun. But you can't just I'm sorry, early while you're still in the foreplay section of your campaign, you really can't just go, I want you all to be James Bond, when you got a bunch of fucking nose pickers who drive howitzers around and go, yeah, no, these guys can't do that. but I want them to be able to single-handedly, but I want you to fight Cobra. Their ability, like, after all, there's like over 140 of you motherfuckers who have names and code names. You all get to have your own special powers, and you know what? One of them might be you have a talking parrot and shoot laser pistols. Fuck you, you're part of the team. Get on the boat. But you don't know that. People are like, how do you start on Adventure 1? You fucking don't. You gotta give them some fucking like borderline shit. I hate to go back to Men in Black, but you need to have Will Smith chase down an alien and then punch it to death in the street and go, that man, I want that man. That guy right there. Welcome to the organization. And you pull him in. Meanwhile, you got another guy. He goes, all right, I have disabled 400 death traps and solved an ancient Incan problem. Oops, I stepped on. I kicked trouble wrong, and now I'm arrested. Fuck. Congratulations, you're now part of the team. What did you do wrong to be here? I pissed off my commanding officer, and well, my one thing is I'm really good at doing paperwork. And grab him quick! Why? He knows where everything's at. Poof! Welcome to the group. And you just because you're dealing with a group of players, not one or two. So as much as we keep going, but what about James Bond? James Bond is a solo act. You can't do a party of James Bonds because, let's be honest, a party of James Bonds just don't fucking work. What you need is a bunch of angry.
Spycraft.
Was that? Yeah. But at that point, you're playing Ocean's 11, the role-playing game with a spy agency attached to it. Or you might as well just play Delta Green, which is Call of Cthulhu.
Okay, Master GMs, run Archer.
Yes, run Archer. That's what you're GMing. If you're GMing for a group of weirdos at your table, because we're all fucking weirdos in this hobby. None of us are serious. None of us are intelligent. You're playing Archer or you're playing American Dad, the role-playing game. We try to be more serious about this, but we're not. Come on, like if you're playing an army game, you realize you're running Kelly's Heroes. You're not running Guns of Navarone. You're running Kelly's Heroes. Just admit it. You're not running Fury. It's Kelly's Heroes. You're stealing everything's not strapped down, and you're gonna trade half a ton of gold for a tank. That's what you're going to fucking do. It's what you always do.
Then it becomes down Periscope all over again.
Yes, it is down Periscope. You find the one person who's way too serious, and then you throw him off the ship onto a fishing boat. Then you go do the real job. It's like, come on, or other things. It's like, or it's Operation Petticoat. Well, shit, nothing works. Paint the sub pink, and we're going. What? What the fuck are we doing? Yeah, just go. We all want you're not going to run, Casino Royale. You're gonna run Thunderball. You're going to run weird. You're gonna have an underwater sword fight with a submarine car. That's what you're going to fucking do. Just be fucking honest. It's what you're going to do.
Then you have that one player that decides, I'm going to be Q.
Yes.
That's basically what I was about to say.
I've had one game where I had four of my 6 players at the table at the time were all tinkerers. They were all crafters and tinkerers, and the game just turned more into what is the Q division up to? And then the one player who was like, I'm here to actually punch people in the face and blow stuff up, and the other 4 players sitting here going, we're here to give you the gear to go punch God. Okay, that's what we're here to do. And hey, 6th guy, what are you here for? He's like, I'm here to write the after action report. That's all I'm here for. What? I'm carrying the video camera so that way we can send a report back to our bosses and say this is what we did. And it was a beautiful campaign of the one tough player looking at the rest of them and go, I need gear. Find me gear. Make me gear. And then they were like, we're on it, boss. And then they're crafting him the weirdest shit. that was completely disposable and built on a shoestring budget and would only work maybe once, twice before it broke. But that's okay. He only needed it once or twice. And then they'd all sit back and like kind of golf clap and cheer as he like, punches everybody to death. And it was great. And I loved that game.
Sounds awesome.
All right. Since we all kind of chimed in on that one, I'll just go to the next question.
I think it's better if we just have like an organic conversation with the question, Garrett.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. That works. Okay, so
Jade!
Woo, you're living.
So how do
I would
you
kill for that.
effectively integrate espionage elements into the game without overshadowing the other aspects of the game? How do you keep it from just consuming the entirety of the game? So, like, if you're playing like a fantasy style, how do you keep from the espionage set from overshadowing it, or even looking at it like your Traveler or 40K type, the sci-fi type, or in any type of game?
I think at that point, you don't let the players actually be the spies. You let the players be the recipient of the spy information, or let the players find information and details and then pass it off to a known person whose job is to be their OSI representative. Like, do you have a guy who is the known spy dude? Like, he is the guy who they all look at and go, "Yo, guy in charge of intel, tell us things." And then you periodically go, "Hey, while we were on the job, fighting the the bandit lord of the East and all this stuff, we found that he had some cryptic secret plans and paperwork." And then you just go, because you've established him in the past, you just kind of go, "This is the guy who knows things. Pass it off to him." And make him somewhat trustworthy, because otherwise your players will just bypass the entire thing and do it all in-house anyway. And at that point, all you're doing is espionage again. But if you can actually establish your players some trust with an NPC who's actually competent, but not omniscient, and make sure that when they actually give information to your players, it's not constantly wrong. I look at you at Harebrained Studios Battletech, who you're about to go fight a lance. Wow, there's an entire battalion here. How did you not know? I don't know. Intel was bad. And then repeat every time. You're like, hey, we're going to send you down against 6 guys. They're all pretty powerful, but you should be able to handle it. 24 mechs later, you're wondering, where the fuck did you find? Hey, guy who's in charge of intel. Yeah. How the hell how are you so blind as to miss 2 companies? I don't know. Intel was wrong. Fuck you. Okay, I now know I can't trust your happy ass. But, if you give them information and you're only off by 25%, hey, that's an okay doable thing. Save the you're being fucked like I fucked with a rake every other mission for, a bad turn of events, but not make it every single time. Yeah, that's how I would do it.
Well, in my
We do have
experience, sorry.
And you're right, Six Nations. We do have decades of shenanigans to go pull from.
And in my experience, I have discovered a way to real simple and easy way to keep the players from becoming espionage based in the game. Hulk smash. And all of a sudden, it's no longer espionage.
Yeah, that is also a viable way of doing it. I find that just kind of dropping little things in here and there of, well, I'm going to use the Star Wars reference. Many Bothans died to bring us this information type deal. And saying, hey, this is the information we have. Whereas, they may be the one that's taking care of it, but overall, they're not the ones who are getting the actual information necessary.
Yeah, makes sense. Probably better than mine, honestly.
Well, and truthfully, that they're the ones that are winding up, actually using the information to do whatever needs to be done. So that's like the big thing there. So yeah.
Another thing is to also reinforce the fact that information gathering is a slow process. It's not instantaneous. So make sure that if you don't want it to be a focus, give people that thing that says, hey, I need time to process this, and then wait, the requisite 3 days to 3 weeks for delivery. And just realize that that's what you're going to be doing is your people are going to be busy and tracking down all the hard work. And occasionally when players go, do we have any information yet? Like, no, but if you go over here, I can give you, we can get it faster. If you go over there and I don't know, not light fire to a village. I heard light fire to a village. Good job. Go.
But fire good.
Fire is a fantastic motivating tool. You'll be surprised how fast people move when they're burning.
Yeah, I had a question for the panel this evening.
Go for it.
Go ahead.
When you're playing in a setting that has magic, how much magic do you allow for an espionage type campaign? So I feel like magic can quickly get out of control in those type of games.
Lots and lots, because the spies have the most money, they have the most tricks, and come on, we all know the great and classic scry and die strategy, right? You've all heard it, you've all done it, I hope. And if not, thank you for being the odds and being a decent human being. But let's be honest, most of us are not decent human beings. So scrying is a fantastic thing. This is why there's certain rings that, rings of non-detection that should be freaking mass-produced, standardized, and handed out to everyone on the planet because of value. If you're an important person, you wear like one of your 2 magic rings is going to be a ring of non-detection because being immune to scry is the most scry and detection spells and the ability is the most important thing in the entire universe. Plus, you're going to start seeing people, investing heavily in dimensional anchors so nobody can teleport in and out of an area. You're going to start if you think the surveillance state we have today is fucking bad, congratulations. Magic makes it just as bad, if not worse, because now we've got thought detection. Now we've got zones of truth. Now imagine you're being kidnapped, like you're a spy, you're being kidnapped, and now you're being tortured to death in this wonderful dark room where a guy comes in periodically and goes, I know it's been 3 days since you last ate. I bet you're hungry. Now, I know your willpower's probably shot, so I'm going to start casting some spells that are going to reduce your willpower even more. And I'm going to now set up the truth serum. No, that's chemical. That chemical's unreliable and will possibly kill you. And I can't afford to kill you yet.
No. What we need to do, we need to get the Strippers Guild involved with this.
Oh God, yes.
Our sweet whisperers just give them in their ear.
Oh yeah. It's like hey, look, like she's casting a spell on you. Oh, it's okay. It's probably to boost arousal. Now you must tell her all your secrets now. What? Don't worry. She's fucking your brains out. You don't give a crap.
Don't worry. You won't remember it that way anyway.
Yeah, you won't. it was just a good night for you. Pillow Talk's fantastic. But, but then again, we also get to deal with magic where the idea of hey, I'm going to torture you to death and I'm going to bring you back to life and then do it again and repeatedly until you're a mentally broken wreck. And then we just toss you in a dumpster somewhere and then walk off. No one's going to find you.
No. Then what we do is, because we have a druid on retainer, he's just going to reincarnate you, and he has an affinity for making people into chipmunks.
Right. Like, you're reincarnated in a new body, new voice. Your mind's the same, but no one's going to believe you when this little when you were this total chat of a dwarf badass, but now you come back as this little halfling shitwagon, and then run up to your bosses and go, "I'm so and so." No, you're not.
Or you come back as a half orc.
Yeah. Or a goblin, and then you run up to your friends thinking that they're going to help you, and then you get plugged with enough firepower to make sure there's no corpse left. And you're a goblin. Nobody gives a shit about what goblins say, so they're not even going to take the time to cast Speak with Dead. They're just going to go, it's one more dead gobbo, and then problem solved. It's gone. The thing that was bugging you, the traitor is now a dead corpse, and nobody will ever see it again. It's the best buyer disposal tactic you'll ever find. And you just walk, and it's a low-level spell. No, I haven't had to dispose of NPCs before. This is not a tactic of mine at all.
I have never done anything like this before. Ever.
Not one bit.
Never.
Never. That you'll ever
prove.
Hey,
Hungar.
Hi there, Hungar.
For $2, Hungar, the Starvarian, says, "Hi, everyone."
Hello.
While you guys talk, I'm going to pull up Hungar's shirts real quick.
Okay. We can pimp the shirts.
We're going to definitely pimp the shirts. We're also going to pimp something else today. We're doing two pimpings. We're going to pump out Hungar the Starvarian because this guy has some amazing shirts, and you all deserve these shirts. All of you.
And if the second thing is what I think it is, then I'll wait.
Go ahead and pull up that backer kit in the private, and I'll pull it up next here. So right now, prices increase in 5 hours, so you can pick up yourself a site-wide tee for $16. That means this iconic Hungar in a Frazetta is $16. That means this iconic Pepe, the Navigator, steering humanity properly, $16. Elon having his greatest day for $16. Hungar's
mine overwrote yours. Hold on. There we go. Got it.
This is beautiful. More Hungar doing Frazetta. And if you have a specific lady in your life and she's a Frazetta girl, get her a Frazetta shirt. See how it's indented. It's convex. Concave? Convex. Convex. Here we go.
It's something.
It's nice. That's what it is. Hungar is a shield entrepreneur.
I want to see a Hungar shirt with his head put with it's a Hungar power armor, muscle suit armor.
That'd be pretty cool. I may have to get this because it's funny.
Yeah, I absolutely love that one. I keep forgetting to get it. I might have to while it's still on sale. But the fart squirrel is where I'm from, everybody will see that shirt and laugh because everyone will agree. We have a lot of skunks around here.
While you're at it, go to Hungar's YouTube and subscribe. It's free. And you get notified sometimes that he's live. Go ahead. There we go.
And then we have our good friend Bear, who was in the chat earlier. We are working on a date tentatively. We are going to be doing two games of this. He's going to run that for us. The first one's going to be on the 21st, and then the second session will be on the 4th. So, yeah, we're going to be there. He is 100% funded. Make sure you go check that out. It is a what you would call a neo clone of Marvel superheroes from back in the 80s, or as many of you may call it, phase rip. Basically, this is, as he's putting it, this is a continuation of the conversation of the game. So they've reworked some of the things. Also, even if you don't purchase it, you can get the first two comics of his, Heroic 1 and 2, that were put out a year or two ago, and just kind of get yourself an idea of what the actual world is all about. So definitely check that out. The pledge levels are here. You do have the I think we've already hit the unlock of the Shadows of Chaos, which is going to give 10 sample heroes squaring off in a 3-act adventure that's going to be coming out with this. And we've also unlocked the print on demand view for the POD backers. The next one, and I believe they have hit that, if I have seen this correctly. Yes, they did. So yeah, they going to have the special edition roster of superheroes at 19. This is all Canadian, so keep that in mind. That'll be put out as a soft cover, and at 20, they're going to be doing the STLs for 3D printing. Then you have your premium extras here. Go back to the top. I think there's an actual. Yeah, you can go and get the free beta test of it, just to see what it's like. And I will go ahead and put that into the chat for everyone. So make sure you do go and check that out. Bear is good people. Make sure you do go check that out. He's actually doing a beta test game tomorrow night on the Society of Role-Playing on his YouTube channel. So make sure you do go check that out if you kind of want to see how it plays and whatnot, and everything. Make sure you go check this out. And yeah, there we go. That's what I was looking for, the pledge levels. So for $25 Canadian, you can get the PDF. For $50 Canadian, you can get the print on demand plus the PDF.
That's what I got.
And it is the soft cover. For $70, you can get the hardcover. Now, one of the things is that you can do for add-ons is you can sit down with the digital team and come up with a hero or villain and it will be introduced into the world with the sit down, get it all done, and then the artist will actually draw and ink it up and everything else. So definitely definitely make sure you do. I believe it would be inking up too. Yeah, full color art and color and character profile and PDF for you. So basically, they'll sit and figure everything out, and it's actually fairly easy for character creation. And make sure you join
Super
us on the
simple.
21st. Make sure you join us on the 21st, where we'll dig in a little deeper with that, and we'll go over that with Bear, and he can go a little bit more in detail with us. So uh, definitely make sure you do check that out. Make sure you do go and back that. Uh, Bear is one of us, in he is, it's something he's very passionate about. Even if superheroes aren't your forte, the way this game is set up, you can pretty much do anything with very, if you want to think very mutant-esque type powers, if you want to do like an X-Men type game, if you want to do like a Marvel, a classic Marvel, classic DC, things along those lines. So yeah, the definitely make sure you check that out. So uh so the next question, let's see. What are some of the pitfalls or challenges that GMs can encounter when running espionage themed sessions, and how can they be overcome?
I would like to say that you always have, when you're running an intrigue or espionage style game, you have to levy to the player that your character is stressed at all times because he's not off. Like most of us, we understand. Like when we're at work, like we're there, we're filling fry orders, flipping burgers, filling up drinks, or we're in school and we have to take notes and we have to pay attention. But like, there's a point where when your job ends, you're done. You punch out from work, you sign your ticket, you're out, and you go home. You be an asshole, you do whatever you want. But when you're a spy, you're consistently having to be working. You're consistently having to push yourself, and whatever narrative or agenda you're trying to push, you have to keep that at the front and center. So the things you want to do, not going to happen. Can't pop open your phone and play Clash of Clans just out of the blue. Can't like decide to go see a movie out of the blue. You got to be working. You got to be working towards the betterment of whatever agenda you're doing. So that's something that you have to kind of push onto the players. Like, there is really not a retirement plan here. I hope you understand that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe if there's a real life spy out there and you'd like to debate me on, I'm thinking that no, you're going to have to continuously, like every conversation you have, if you are trying to subvert the populace around you, you have to whittle and wheagle and ruin everything you touch by talking about things that nobody around you wants to do. Like, you're trying to tell everybody, I think we all should be good citizens and push our shopping carts back in the shopping corral when we're done shopping. And people that don't, they're just bad Americans. And I think that would be one minor way to kind of, here's your person that's trying to convert your local neighborhood to a nanny state. We're all doing this for the greater good. Why aren't you part of the greater good?
The greater good.
Yes.
But you never have somebody that, like, I'm a spy, but like, no, he's going to play like a record 10-hour game of Chronoscope or whatever it was on SNES. He's not going to do that.
No. PCG, what are your thoughts on this one?
Repeat the question, please.
What are common pitfalls and challenges for GMs when you throw in some espionage sessions, and how can you overcome them?
Well, I haven't had too much experience with espionage stuff, admittedly. I never really played it, but I think I would think the movie Red is a good example of both. Retired and Extremely Dangerous.
Bruce Willis, Helen Mirren.
Red.
A lot of the pitfalls end up being, well, once you've reached a certain age, what do you do? Like Bruce saying, what do you do? Do you actually retire? Do you keep going? And when you are active all the time, when you are young and active, do you give your player a nemesis that he has to deal with later? Is it just a monster of the week type thing? Does your character have a significant other, like Bruce Willis? Do you have to work around the fact you have to keep someone safe, or train them to be a spy as well, like he did, so they can defend themselves? So when it comes to getting around the pitfalls, it's in the end, it's kind of a cop-out answer, but the GM has to be able to be creative, because any pitfall could come up at any time, and the GM has to be able to think their way around it.
I don't think it's the GM's responsibility to think their way around it. I think the GM is
Okay, GM-based pitfalls, player-based pitfalls, the player is responsible for. How's that?
The player is the one that has to navigate. The GM is going to GM tomorrow too.
That is fair. But as not playing much spy stuff, this is all theory crafting, and Red was one of my favorite spy-ish movies, so it's the only one I really can go for a good basis off of.
You know, if you want to test yourself as a GM, what I would recommend is you would run a Palladium game of just like regular folks, right? Just create some Robotech pilots, but don't let them get in a suit. You know, let them get in like regular clothing, and let them go on some R&R. But when they're out, supposed to be relaxing, they find out that like there's somebody pretty, heavily embedded in the SDF or whatever timeline you're running in, and they could make it to where it's a fairly exciting adventure, but they would be running around a resort planet or a resort area trying to stop somebody from having a transfer of information from an unknown individual to themselves. And you can make that either a 3-act one-shot advert, or you could turn that into a whole campaign where the players don't really get back to whatever their HQ may be. They may be drafted into the espionage side of their job, and they've got to use their talents for something not quite what they were prepared for, but instead they get really good at what they're doing. It's just a thought.
Yeah, it makes sense, and honestly, I think it was a slightly better explanation than what I had.
Okay, crafting. Hold on. I speak with 33 gaming years of experience and a little bit of alcohol.
Well, I totally understand.
I drink and I know things, but I'm just saying that
I don't know why, but when you said that, I was expecting to hear "I drink, therefore I am."
No. That very well could be. I think that the longer you sit behind the shield, though, you're going to be better for it, because you're going to be able to start throwing things at players. And as you learn how to develop a relationship with those in front of the gaming shield, you'll be able to describe things to them to where you're not speaking as the GM. You might be speaking as one of their characters' friends or as one of their characters' relatives, which is always a way to guilt people into doing stuff. You might be speaking from someone's hopeful future. They meet an attractive lass while they're on the ski slopes of Geneva, Switzerland. And while they're out there, I mean, they start seeing that there's a conspiracy, and it leads them to the exotic city of Stockholm, or something of that nature, or maybe they have to go back to Neo Tokyo. I don't know. I don't know how you want to run your game, but you're gonna have so many opportunities to do stuff like this, and you can have it in a campaign to where it's been largely like action and breakneck adventure, but you have these organic moments where you can throw these at the players and you can discuss with them the things that are going on and potentially goings on. And as that session continues, it turns into this organic development of just some harebrained scheme you had where you like had an offhand comment and now you're 3 adventures deep. As the players try to figure out, is this a red herring or is this like a serious threat to our very existence and the life and the order we know? And that could be something that would propel you into reading other novels for just the experience of knowing that. I mean, I know you're probably not going to pick up Robert Ludlum, but I would recommend at some point you pick up Robert Ludlum because he does Cloak and Dagger really good, and you can alter the story plots and the beats from those books to the people in front of you on a mixed system that uses D100s and D20s without a whole lot of taxation to your mental facilities. All I ask you do, though, take a notebook. It's empty when you start, and take good notes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not trying to be a teacher. Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's part of what we do.
Yeah.
Hey, we don't have Connell to browbeat today.
Kind of liberating, actually. I get to see Garrett. Garrett looks like he's angry, though.
I know he's angry.
I want to feed Garrett like a small yappy dog so he can beat on it or something. I don't know. Just
No, I like my puppies.
not your puppy, just a small yappy dog, like your most hated foe's dog. Sorry about that. You just look like you need to beat on something, and like actual people, like, oh god, this could get real bad real quick.
Nah.
Now, you see given what I've learned of Baron so far, what you do is something very similar off of the Grinch movie. Do a giant picture of somebody he doesn't like and give him a garbage catapult.
We have those in Morton. They propel pumpkins throughout the sky.
Yes.
I've been wanting to go to one of those at some point.
We'll have to get you to Morton.
Good old pumpkin chunkin'.
The Pumpkin Festival.
It is a hoot, but I feel sorry for the farmers that are 3 or 4 miles away that are standing outside one night and all of a sudden they get splattered by like pumpkin seeds and like pumpkin guts. No.
Yeah.
The high velocity arrival of orange crap in your fields.
I mean, it's good compost, but it could be painful at velocity.
This is true.
Garrett, whenever you run a game, do you ever get tempted to throw in some espionage elements and offer that to like the character sneak or the roguey character, just so like you can have another angle to play with if the players don't really seem to be biting on much for a night? You can always go back to this well and, hey, Rogue. Yeah. You remember that girl you met at laundry last week? Well, she's wanting to talk to you again, but she's over the fence master. So you head over to the fencing master, and she's like, "Hey, I want to know if you and your group are available, because I need some friends to help me with something." And then, like, she gives you just a stupid fetch quest, which turns into like oh wait, there's a MacGuffin there, and that MacGuffin is not only wanted by her, but there's like three other groups of people that are looking for it, and only a high level diplomat would have been able to find out that much, because we're talking about like the guild here. We want to make sure that we make things within the guild. If you're not like trusted by people, it's not going to be so easy to make their lips flap around. All these guys that play Pathfinder with me, like, I rolled a 36 on my knowledge planes. Tell me everything about this monster. All right, I open up the Chimerian fire hose and I bombard you with 400 various facts about it, and I give you the idea that maybe it's you to sort things out.
With me,
here's the
I
thing.
I will.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. With me, I will throw in a little bit of the espionage, especially if I need another hook. That's the thing. You have to read the table. If you're not getting through to the players into grabbing one of the hooks you've thrown out, sometimes you have to, basically make a hook to help yourself out. You know what I mean? So that is the huge thing that allows you to give yourself a basically an out, I guess is the best way to put it, so you can figure out how to get them to engage, because every player has got their own little button that needs to push, basically. And you sometimes you've got to look around for that. Sometimes it's real easy. I'm gonna use Connell here for a second. Of the kids are in trouble. Some people are going to jump right on that and be like, you got to save the kids, because that's their button to pull them in. Other people are like, well, there's this treasure, and also this fountain that supposedly gives you eternal youth if you drink from it. Or there's this city made of gold.
There's an even cooler city with a spire almost in the center of it.
But I mean, you can use you have to find the hooks, and if you can get the players, especially if you have a player that loves to be a knowledge monkey, that is one of the best ways, because they're like, oh, I could do this. I've got the skill set for this. And then all of a sudden you have them.
I know one hook I used to go back to an earlier question when you asked the hooks you bring to bring people into a espionage campaign. I remember that how I did it once was the party came across a wrecked caravan. Everyone was murdered. Most of it was looted by bandits, but they managed to find, because they went looking, found let's look the wagon for a hidden compartment, and that's when they found a stack of shipping documents and four very odd jars that had no discerning or point of origin, and then they ended up backtracking their way into a vast conspiracy between three major corporations that were part of the industrial military complex that were trying to fund both sides of a growing civil war, a civil war that hadn't broken out yet, and the party found themselves trapped in the middle of all this and trying to figure out where they wanted to be. And then they decided that no, we don't want to actually join the rebellion or the republic or anything. We're just going to go over here onto our own side and cook meth, lots of meth, and we're going to sell it to all the soldiers on both sides. Because what do soldiers need in a civil war while they're sitting here stoking the civil war and going, come on, start fighting, you two? And they go, because soldiers don't need to sleep. So therefore, we're going to give them all the drugs they need to stay awake forever. And then they became their own little drug empire. And I loved them because they like, no, we're just going to sell drugs to the soldiers. It'll be great. And I'm like, fuck.
Sorry.
You people are brilliant. I love you.
That's like,
You ever see that movie Buffalo Soldiers, guy?
Yeah.
A simple, like if you wanted to have like just a 2-person gaming group. All right, guys, right? Get out your notebooks. 2-person gaming group. You could run 2 JAG officers like the old TV show JAG, right? But you could take the incident that's shown off in Buffalo Soldiers, where Joaquin Phoenix is administering dope to the command where he's at. And you could have yourself a really fun little adventure there. You could have yourself an adventure that would provide you and your friends with a lot of spills and a lot of double crossings. And then, they have the random element of, oh, wait, there's drug use on scene. So there's going to be unreliable and unexpected reaction from various people here. So I recommend, borrowing from plots and movies liberally. And if you have like an off week with your gaming group, you don't have to run with like half of it. Although I just ran with like 4 out of 8 on my other game. Sorry about that, but I had 4 people. I could run with 4. If you have like 2 people, though, you want to do like an investigative unit. You don't want to do like, we're leading a platoon. You want to make the characters the stars. You want to make them the focus of the campaign. Now, you don't make them the absolute badasses. You let them know that there's always somebody bigger and badder. There's always a bigger fish. But you let them be the focal point where their efforts are going to try to figure out, just for the sake of the military or whatever branch they're part of, that they're there to kind of better it. And it makes for an interesting idea to where you could go from command to command, taking these 2 or 3 characters, trying to unravel problems. And it could be just episodic, where there's nothing tying these together. Or if you want to be a grand campaigner, a dirty campaigner is my favorite. You could have your players discover something that's kind of got an agenda behind it. Maybe it reaches all the way to some lofty place like the Pentagon, where their clearance doesn't allow them to really focus. Or maybe it's more tied to, like, say, Detroit.
Yep.
Detroit used to be the headquarters for my CB detachment, which is why I bring that up. Garrett, come back.
No. Who's going to run things? I require supervision.
I know, right? Oh no, you get recruited for a mission. It turns out you're doing corporate espionage for Consolidated Products, an Amway knockoff. Turn super spy on its ear. Oh God, no.
Just remember, you can't actually just remember, when it comes time to confront your enemies, you can't actually kill them, or maybe you can, but you can't. Don't use anything that leaves a body behind, because we can't get the cops involved.
Well, the thing is that if you're running against like an Amway knockoff, you go to people and you tell them things like, I don't think you're really trying so hard. I think you've gotten out of it. I mean, show me your book. Who's been your 3 circles of focus this week? And let them draw their little circles of influence. And Tommy led to Brenda, Brian, and Timmy. Timmy led me to Garrett, Reba, and Mac. But Reba brought her grandparents, and then like 19 people came to the meetings, and we all thought the vacuum was really impressive. Wait, was that too much? I'm sorry.
I only caught half of it because my camera turned off for whatever reason, and then I had to close out and come back in.
I'm
The
terrified.
camera's like, there's enough of that. We're gonna do radio now.
I'm terrified that anyone knows how Amway works.
I was involved with their subsequent version, and I don't like it. You liquidate an enemy, then you got to use a corporate approved cleaned products and leave a positive review, and make sure that you advertise and you share and subscribe and you do all the things. Make sure you put this out on X, even though X is not an approved corporate server. You do want to put your review out on X, and don't forget, go to Urban Spoon for their brother's hot dog stand and make sure you give him 1 star, because that guy doesn't put any relish on his dogs. He's a communist. You know what game would be best for espionage, I think?
What's that?
Paranoia.
Oh God, yes. Paranoia would be good, and even looking at some of the other ones out there. Actually, let's make that in the form of a question. What games do you think are more suited for an espionage type, either campaign or that would really help your game along?
Oh dear gosh. May I ask what era would you what era / genre would you prefer?
Yes.
Okay. I will point towards. I will always say a Legend of the Five Rings for any Asian Japanese based RPG, or hell, just adapt it to anything in the universe. I love that game. It works. I will also.
I used to be that way to Mutant Chronicles, but I've realized L5R is a superior system.
It is. It's so simplistic. It's so easy. With a little bit of work, I can probably slap together some schools, some insight ranks, and some stat adjustments, so that way you can figure out what your insight ranks are and be able to run with it. Because honestly, any game you can play with 10d10, and that's all you'll ever need, is a good game. Plus, addition is so easy. No successes. Just can you add and hit number? Yes. No. Good. Go. Other games I would also say I will continue to point towards. I like Delta Green. It's just a good game. I enjoy it. But then again, I like Government Overreach Simulator. I will also point towards anybody who ever wants to play Mage the Ascension as a technocracy, or hell, as a traditions, and prepare to. How much can you get away with without the mundanes and normals figuring out what's going on? Which the whole point of espionage, anyway, is fighting a shadow war. Well, you're fighting a shadow war against reality, and reality's sitting here with a hair trigger going, try it. I can do wonders. Try it. And you're sitting here waiting for Paradox to punch you in the face because you haven't convinced reality that the masses that you're actually amazing. So therefore, you have to be subtle. What's an espionage game? Subtle. You're doing the work of you're doing the most important job, either freeing humanity or continuing to protect it, or depending on which propaganda you want to push. Because dirty, fucking, filthy traditionalists are all fucking scum reality deviants and need to be punished for existing. Yeah. But no, I said Mage the Ascension is definitely a great game for if you want to run a great subtlety campaign. Honestly, I would really avoid D20 based games. Even though every game of Cyberpunk and Shadowrun degenerates down to who has the most rocket launchers, those two could potentially be good, but let's be honest, they degenerate down to if it's a stealth mission, if nobody lives to say we were here. And Traveler is Traveler / Twilight 2000 / 80 2300. You know, the whole freaking it all uses the goddamn same rule book system almost. Are also good for if you screw up, you end up dead in 2 shots if you're lucky. So don't screw up. Are good games for that.
I would say Morrow Project
Yes.
would be a good one. Just because you've got to get the lay of the land in trying to figure out who's doing what where. Another one I would say would be Vampire the Masquerade, because
Yes.
that is all about information. That game is a all about getting the information. Yes, there are, oh, I'm going to rip things apart, but still, you have to have information behind you. And I was going to, and you actually said the 2 others that I was thinking of, which was Cyberpunk, whichever flavor you prefer, and Shadowrun, because with those, the same thing is that you've got to figure out if especially like in Shadowrun, if Mr. Johnson's going to send you into somewhere where you really, you're probably going somewhere where you shouldn't be, and then trying to figure out, okay, can we cut a deal? Same thing with Cyberpunk. If you go into any of the courts, you're going to be trying to figure out the exact same thing.
I don't have any real experience outside of Palladium. I do know it is possible to do an espionage campaign, but you got to make sure the players know beforehand so they can do occupations that will work with that, because there's a lot of non-espionage occupations, which is all I can really see. I mean, I know that Paranoia, like you guys said, can be a spy espionage type game, which I had a copy of it. Sorry.
Have you played Paranoia yet?
No, I actually entered to win the red letter, whatever, red box edition from Legion of Myth.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing the way Paranoia works, I gave it to my sister. Now, here's the thing. My sister is very competitive, and her husband is incredibly competitive.
It's like the worst game to give competitive people.
I know.
It really is. Like what you do is you make sure you follow it up next year with a nice big box set of Diplomacy.
Oh God!
Oh.
She will have no friends ever.
Nuke the world.
We're a wonderful family, right? Yes. Let's play a nice game of Diplomacy. Yes, this will be a fun. 4 hours later, the house is on fire and nobody, and there's just dead bodies in the lawn.
No. The house is on fire, and then all of a sudden, everyone's no contact for the rest of their lives. It's just like, no.
Finally, I never have to talk to any of you fuckers again for the rest of my life. It's great. I win this. I won Diplomacy.
Bruce, what's your takes on this?
On what? Him getting Diplomacy for his sister? That'd be awesome.
No, what games would be best for like an espionage type, either campaign or to enhance the game?
I would say Paranoia would be my first choice, but nobody wants to play that because too many slapstick games got personal. So take that to a con and play it there. That way your regular gaming group filled with softies and thin skins doesn't get all butthurt about it. You could play if you don't have Paranoia but you want to play a good one. There is an actual D20 game called Spycraft. I outlined at the beginning of this episode. Spycraft is fantastic. Spycraft has various settings, has a lot of different options available. It is a D20 product, so expect skills and feats, but it works very, very well. And whichever version you use, 1.0 or 2.0, you're going to enjoy that. My third choice for espionage, I'm going to go with the Star Trek Prime Directive because we played a game with Bill, and he ran that for about 4 sessions, and we were pretty much trying to like the first episode of it. We had to escape from a ship, so like it was lifeboat the first adventure session. The second and third version of the adventure that he ran us on, we were scampering around the surface of a planet while he was using the Army Ranger Survival Guide from 1982 to try to help us try to figure out what plants would be safe to eat or wipe your ass with. That was interesting. And then episode 4 was when all the other pods of the escape pods had met up. We had to figure out exactly what was going on and who was at the center of it, and why was it so important that we just couldn't like live the rest of our life on this pristine but yet deadly planet and retire there. Like, we're only cadets, but you're offering us life here. We could have life here. Fuck, this is Mosquito Coast ranked up to 10. We'll go for it. And like, that was where the campaign ended. It was only 4 sessions. Before 5e, guys, there were campaigns that only lasted 3 sessions or less. It's not just you. The reason why I say Star Trek is that everybody knows the world. Prime Directive wasn't exactly a simple game, but it did have a very identifiable world. And if you were familiar with the likes of your players and your GM, you had the game in the bag. You knew what to prepare for. And Bill was a lawyer, but he loved his Army Ranger survival book. So I kind of figured that out. Whenever he broke that, I'm like, we're gonna be playing this for a while. And the first episode was all lifeboat and just survived a planet fall. The second and third episode was like learn how to thrive on the planet. And then episode 4 for us was like we started bumping into other teams that they had jettisoned out of the ship, and it fell apart there. But Prime Directive was a lot of fun.
Okay. So this one's an open one here. What are some unique mechanics or systems that you can use to enhance the espionage or spycraft in your tabletop games?
Is this for me or for everybody?
For whomever.
Probably.
Well, as a Palladium player, I got to point out Ninjas and Super Spies.
Yay!
Book literally made for it.
Okay.
I think the only comment I would have towards that is if the game's done right, you really don't need to have a unique mechanic embedded in that's just for espionage. The game engine should be like, since espionage is more of a genre or a series of, or a style of adventuring, you really, outside of like skills and and a good skill set, a good conflict resolution system that isn't just a bounded system that just does whatever the fuck it feels like, and where you can actually have some variety and way of and you have a decent gear list that actually supports creativity, you really don't need to have a unique mechanic that powers espionage besides perhaps the power. Like, I think the most unique mechanic and thing that you would need is, do you know how to run an organizational chart and an Excel spreadsheet? If you can run those, if you could do an Excel a PowerPoint presentation, you got espionage in the bag.
Okay.
With me, typically what I will do is I will, if the game doesn't actually have a specific mechanic for it, I will substitute one in that's just about as close as I can get. You know, the whole thing of calling for if it requires a roll, you use what the system has. Uh, don't try to reinvent the wheel. Just use what they have and work within the confines of the system you have. Not every system is going to be perfect, but typically you can find a nice uh, way a way that will work for not only for you but also the players in order to be able to do that for, like, for instance, in like a D&D esque or fantasy type, like a gather information type deal, or even a uh, you can even use things like intimidation checks, or the opposite, diplomacy type checks. Use what's within the system to see what you can do, and kind of work within that to to make it work, I guess, is the best way that I can put it.
Makes sense.
Bruce, what are your thoughts on this one?
Repeat your question. I apologize, Garrett.
Unique mechanics or systems to enhance the espionage experience.
I would actually want to have like a unified system, even if it's like either a D4 or D6 or D100. I'd rather have a unified system just for the fact that like I need to roll out a view character. And the more I play around with things, like the more I think that like just I need the players to understand like just the basic mechanics. Like if you roll high, it's good. If you roll low, it's bad. Go ahead and give me your roll. And if you have all the information, or if the players have a character sheet that's fairly well detailed, like a six page character sheet with mechanics on it, either way, it's going to provide the information that you need for you to be able to tell the story of what happens when the characters attempt to succeed or they tragically fail. But I would always prefer like a unified attempt. As much as I talk about Palladium, I do like Palladium quite a bit. I just don't like the system. The D100 for skills, D20 for to hit. I'm not into that. I would rather make it all D20 or all D100, and that's just me. Or make it just a D6 pool system like Star Wars D6. Oh wait, did I say that? I'm sorry. I think it enhances it whenever it's just a simple die roll. It makes it easier for you to get to the meat of what you want to run. If there's like a 7 page flow chart, like with my game system or with Rollmaster, players get a little bit of math exercise, but they're not really being in the role of their character, they're being a mathematician. That's great if your game embraces that. But if you're running for more intensity and flair, and you just want the, just give me die roll. Let me know if you pass or fail. Like, you need a more simplified system that probably has a very fast resolution.
I miss Star Wars D6.
All right. That is kind of where all my questions are. Does anyone else have one they want to fire out here?
Well, Garrett, I'm going to ask you this. If this isn't really pertaining to espionage, this is really just you doing table time. And I mean, I like talking about games, but I'd rather game. So time spent gaming is superior to time spent in a panel, most part. What is your ideal campaign you would play? Either as a GM or as a player, but what would you rather do?
Personally, I'd rather be a player, just because I don't get a chance to play as often as I like. and the ideal, if you're talking like game system, would probably be first edition Exalted.
Can you run Espionage with Exalted?
Oh God, yes.
Okay, I didn't know.
Can I jump on this one?
Go for it.
Okay. Each of the various aspects, each of the various types of Exalted has a specific type that is all about espionage and intrigue and stealthy manipulation. And then you have an entire faction who is just about stealthy intrigue and espionage. My favorite group, the Sidereals, exist exclusively to play Spy Masters of Heaven. And it's like where we would talk about mundane things where it's like the CIA deals with I defend America across the seas, KGB I defend Russia across the overseas and internally. You have various organizations, you have corporations. Then you get to Exalted, where what is your purview and dominion and domain? And at which point the overworked Sidereal, who's probably on his 20th pot of coffee today, is going, the planet. You mean like what part of the world? I deal with exclusively secrets, and there's only 20 of us to do the entire job of the entirety of the world in reality. The gods are all lazy. Nobody knows what they're doing, and I have to go watch 45 other people who are crazy do other crazy things. And every once in a while, I got to show up and wonder why a guy who's powered by the sun and shoots laser beams from his mouth decided to eradicate 3 time zones yesterday. It's just a normal Tuesday. How's your day going? And meanwhile, it's like, excuse me, drinks a pot of coffee and then puts it back on the burner and then goes off and goes, I need to go and I go and tell 14 people that they need to kill their children and or save the world tomorrow, and then I'm gonna forget that I was there as soon as I leave the room. This is great. I love my job. This is the best job in the entire world. I'm so glad I was picked by heaven to do this job. Yes. And then you wander off, and it's like I just made the Sidereal sound very, very insane, but every Sidereal player, they're playing the Sidereals correctly, should be that half crazed, they haven't slept in 4 days, and all they're running on is caffeine and hatred, staring at a board covered in red string and push pins and weird buttons, and saying, "This is what's going on. Are you sure? I don't know. I'm waiting for a report from 4 other people so I can get a better idea what's going on here, so I can ensure that the West doesn't catch fire. It's an ocean. Water can't burn. You would think that, but you're wrong."
These people are from Florida.
It's an entire direction of the planet that is Florida. The southern part especially. The part that borders the fire region, the fire zone. Yeah, the water is on fire. There's a crocodile that breathes fire. I think it's made of fire. It's in the water. Okay, what are you gonna do about it? I don't know. I got people on it. Excuse me. Hey, guy in charge of other things. And you hear him just, his voice trailing off as he goes chasing down, the guy who's in charge of that section of the universe, and goes, "Do your fucking job."
Yeah,
and then he's like, "We have men working on it. Who? Top men. Who? Top men."
Men. And the top men is is your usual gaming group of weird nose pickers and droolers. Those are your heroes. These are the people who are going to save the world. God help me. I'm going to fucking kill everybody. I can't because my powers don't let me, but don't worry, I'm going to martial arts punch you. I punch your ancestor tomorrow because fuck you, I can.
Kai's initial description of an aerial immediately, I think it was called that, immediately made me think of Homer in the power plant.
Yes, the Sidereals are definitely at times like that.
Oh God.
I like sidereals. I could play sidereals. I would run a sidereal like if I could have someone who would run a serious Okay, there's no such thing as a serious sidereal campaign, because the moment you realize that there are 100 people who are running the entirety of the universe, and they're all crazy, and they're all having a little pissy fight over, do we let mortals actually run things, or do we actually like, and then it's like 50 people having a slap fight over what's over should heroes be allowed to exist or not on the world, and meanwhile, the rest of the universe is on fire and collapsing. There are fairies butt fucking the universe, and there's demons who are going, it's all going to be mine one day. It's the dead who are going, I'm going to unmake reality so that way we can be free from the afterlife. And there's a crazy bitch who's in control of a giant weapon that can wipe out continents. But don't worry, we kind of like her, I think. Do we? I'm not sure. And then we got, hey, werewolf guy, could you just not eat a dragon tomorrow? No, I'm going to eat a dragon. Could you just not? I need a dragon. Could you wait till Tuesday to eat the dragon? No. Just delay for 24 hours. No. God damn it! Could any of you do anything? Could any of you chuckle fucks not fuck up for 24 goddamn hours so I can sleep? And the answer to the universe is no. Fuck all of you. I'm taking a nap. And then you wake up and the whole universe is on fire again. God damn it!
I feel like the maid around here. Can we keep this clean for like 10 minutes?
Yes, and the bad part here is that is exactly what a sidereal campaign is. Solar players get to fuck around and jack off and jerk themselves off and go, hey, I'm the most powerful good guy in the entire universe. I have awesome powers. I'm a hero. Werewolf, the lunar players, fuck yeah. It's like, I'm a giant fucking werewolf dragon, dragon hyena pufferfish hybrid. Yeah, I'm awesome. Dragonborn are sitting here going, go, go, Power Rangers, we fuck everything. And then you have demons who are just going, Green Sun Princess, yeah, we're going to go fuck everybody. And you got a bunch of other weirdos who are all fucking out there, and we're a bunch of emos. Fuck you. Who are you people? We reject time and reality. We reject your reality and replace it with our own. And you're sitting here going, hey, gods who are in charge of the planet, are you going to do anything? Kinda. Hey, gods in the celestial heavens, are you gonna do anything? Kinda. Fuck. I guess I gotta do it all myself. Boom. And then it's like, but don't worry, I can't, because you all forget who I am the moment I leave the room. Fuck all of you. Fuck. But I like reality. It's where I keep all my stuff.
Behold my stuff.
And then you've got the sidereal just sitting there going, oh my god, and then takes out a scroll case and is just sitting there talking to the little spider within.
Yeah, you
I don't know what to do. What do I do? Dear spider, yes, I know, shoulder spider, you're here. I know. I'm going to write you a poem now about how much this guy is dumb. And I need you to take it over to the grand computer that runs the universe, that weaves the fabric of reality, yes, and then go pull that fucker out of it. Whoop! Thank you, spider. All right. So I think we've kind of beat this one over the last 2 weeks. So once again, what we've got is on the 21st, we are going to be with Bear, the Gen X GM, with his heroic beta test that we're going to be playing. Next week, we are going to... Ooh, Kai's going to be happy.
What?
We're doing a cyberpunk deep dive.
Woo!
So we're going to be looking into a cyberpunk, not necessarily the actual game engine itself, but the actual setting of cyberpunk. So we're going to be kind of looking at that and looking at ways to incorporate that into your game or how to run it or pitfalls, things along those lines. So Bruce, what do you got coming up this week?
Well, looks like Saturday I'll be doing my normal stream about noontime. This is going to be the beta test group that's doing actually they're more of an alpha test group, and they're doing a campaign as we get everything straightened out with the system I'm running. I just came up with a new theory for the apprentice classes, and I'll be putting that to print here in about 2 weeks. That should be ready. So look forward to that. I'm looking for the book to be about 65 to 80 pages. I don't know. I haven't decided on the font size yet, but it'll be interesting. That's this weekend is the alpha test. Next week is the 15th level group trying to figure out how they can save Archon and Archon the plane where they're at, and figure out how they can profit off this if they do. Now, between then and now, I will be switching jobs on Monday, and I'll be getting an idea of what fatigue is like because I'm going back to 12-hour days. But I do plan on doing some reaction videos based on what I get from you guys. Looking forward to that.
All right. Kai, this is a musings weekend. So what do you have on tap for your musings this week with Bruce?
Insert 50 cents. I turned handle. Receive topic for 45 minutes. Insert 50 more cents, please.
Okay. Is there anything anything that you're wanting to cover? Let's put it that way.
I have no idea. I've honestly been busy on trying to be creative, and but as Janet found out by just saying something in my channel, I wrote like 3 or 4 major posts in a row. So honestly, Bruce just needs to give me a topic, and then I will talk, and then somebody else in chat will say something, and then I will talk. And then I will get really passionate, come up with a creative, stupid scenario in my head, live action it out, like I just did with my sidereal going crazy moment, and it'll be a generally good, exhausting 3 to 4 hours of chit chat. Who knows? We may open it up, let people in so they can talk, or try to talk, and then. And then I will continue to consume all oxygen out of the room.
Excellent. TCG, what do you got coming up?
Nothing this Saturday, but next Saturday I will have a video. Zentradi Mech in the RDF. Sorry, my brain completely farted there.
Gesundheit. And what is that? For those that may not know, like me.
I am covering the Robotech Palladium series RPG.
Okay. So everyone, we want to definitely thank you. Just a reminder, next week Bruce will not be here, and we will not be streaming to his channel, but you can stream to the actual Tablebreakers channel. The link is down in the description in tiny URL, and that will become kind of the main channel now that Bruce is taking his leave from us to drive a truck. So and whatnot, as he's changing jobs and whatnot. So we want to definitely thank Bruce until you are able to come back to us. We definitely want to thank you for the time that you've spent with us. Thank you for everything, your insights and whatnot. And we look forward to your return when it does become available to you?
I will be doing content still throughout the week. It'll be at different times. I'm thinking Sundays, I'll probably have to leave Machini and let him stream with his crew and then get the Discord stuff done earlier in the day with the viewing of whatever. This week, me and Janet are supposed to talk about Star Trek Continues. I'm thinking we're going to do a live video early on Monday or maybe Tuesday if she's up for it. Either of those days. But it not early, but earlier than at 6 p.m. I should be in bed. Okay, but I should be resting because I have job. I like job, but we want to get things done, and I want to probably focus on that for a little bit, and then my 2 days off. I know one of them is going to spend being playing with the system, and as the high level campaign wraps up, I'll be focusing everything I've got on getting this to print. It'll be interesting. Six Nations, it's the same job I'm doing. Just look at it like that. For what intents and purposes, it does provide a few more outages or exits to home ownership and other responsibility, which I've been wanting for a while. I've outgrown this apartment. I love my place. Don't get me wrong, but I need more space.
All right. So everyone, actually, Bruce, go ahead and take us out.
Before I take us out, I started Tablebreakers because the Gatekeepers idea I had was not a bad idea. It's better in Jade's hands. And I wanted to kind of have a group of people that were really familiar with each other talk about things in gaming. And a lot of the items I had on my bullet points, I got checked off with this. And I even got some good people in chat like Lady or Six Nation 31 Kings to follow us and be part of our streams and be part of our extended family that we choose. I really appreciate that. We brought in Fat Man's Corner, the crafting gamer, as one of our first, I guess you'd say, like 6-seaters, because Shadow was doing really good, but I kept watching Shadow's numbers, and Shadow, I like him. I think he's doing better without. I know this sounds weird, and some people are like, "You guys boot him out." Hold on. Look at the streams he does. Look at the numbers he pulls. He's doing very well. He's thriving. There's been times where he might dip down in single digits, but he generally has 15 to 20 people in his chat, and he engages very well. I think he's done really well. I think he's growing, and I think that's wonderful. Crafting Gamer is kind of new on this paneling thing and hosting thing, and he's getting his levels up to where he's getting the confidence to where he could carry a stream by himself very easily. And I think as time goes on, every one of you will be able to do that for 6, 8, 10, 12 hours. It'll be easy because you'll just have these items you want to talk about. Your chat will feed you stuff, and you're just going to go through it. And I didn't really start Tablebreakers to be like a feeder programs for you guys to sprout your wings and go, but I saw Tablebreakers as more like just kind of a regional thing where guys that kind of already knew each other would talk. And the Crafting Gamer, like, he just bonded in, and it felt like we'd known him for years, longer than what we have. And so seeing this family kind of get together on Thursdays, it sucks that I'm changing jobs and losing this, but I really hope you guys carry this torch and you turn it into a bonfire and you keep throwing wood on it and it doesn't die. I think this is a very good start. I think this is something that's going to get bigger, and my absence from it will probably make it bigger than what I left it. That's just how I see it. I think you guys will be fine, especially once Connell lets his life balance out a bit. Jade's going to have some equilibrium settling in here at some point too. So you guys, I think, will be great. You'll be fine. And if you need a sixth person, go grab a sixth chair, get them in here, and have your stream, have your panel, have your conversation. Tablebreakers is about long-term conversations on a topic, and I think that's what I wanted that was like my main thing. I wanted almost Joe Rogan on one specific tabletop topic. I wanted that. I know this sounds crazy. I'm not a 3 or 4 minute long video guy. There are other people who do that really well. I know this sounds crazy, but I'll talk about Condor DM's videos because he has some really good 3 and 4 minute videos. But we don't do that. We talk about things and we'll have side conversations. We get back into something, and then suddenly we're like 5 or 6 volumes into it, and we're throwing out stuff that only the people that read Messiah of Dune would understand. And that's I'm giving the crown or the primary seat, Garrett. Run with it, and you guys take care. I'll be back. I'll be talking to you. I'm not dying, for crying out loud. I'm on Discord. I'm still in the Tablebreakers chat, so you'll be fine.
And next week we'll be like, Bruce, who's this guy you're talking? I vaguely remember this crazy Italian guy who used to make pizzas that were like 3 feet thick and it was nothing but bread. Where'd that guy go? Where did that guy go? All right, Bruce, take us out, buddy.
Everyone, the best times in life you're going to have are going to be times that you're able to celebrate something. So before that celebration, you are being tested. Embrace those times, both the challenge and the celebration and repair. For all of us at Table Breakers, thank you so much for being part of this endeavor. And we will see you next week. Good night.
Bye, everybody.